Okay. So this is the, I'm going to hide the sun path. And I'm going to use the hiding line. So now we have deleted this model because I don't want to explode, or I don't want to show this view with the whole model. We only need the module that we have just created. Okay, so we can either delete everything, or we can use the section box. And with this section box, we can just create or isolate the part of the model that we want to show. Okay, so I don't know, maybe that might be a good idea if you have already done this detail. And now we want to explode this one. That's fine. We can analyze if it's better working with the perspective view or an orthographic view. I don't know, maybe the perspective is nicer, but when we are working with construction, I think the orthographic is clearer. But I don't know, this is a perspective view, as you can see. It's up to you, I don't mind. I want to hide the section box. And well, because now I'm thinking of the heat itself. Well, I will, but I want to explode things. Okay, so if you want to create this, if you want to show different layers of different components, we have at least 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe more, I don't know. So selecting the view, it's relevant because it can be confusing. So let's try this, and then let's see if we have to change something. So the first layer we have to displace is this curtain wall. Okay. Then we have those shading or operable shading devices, so I can displace them, and I can select this. At this point, I don't know if showing all of them would be confusing. Maybe we should show only these 2, I don't know. Then we have to show the frames. We have 1, 2, and 3 frames. So displace them. We do have all that stuff here with those louvers. So probably this has to be here. And then, well, we have to make it clear. Is this clear enough? Well, that depends on the angle. Let me try the perspective. Does the perspective help? Okay, so we have to try to find the nicest angle. And remember that if we click a path, that's clear because it brings the element where it is placed. Okay, and so this is it. Then we can try different versions, maybe realistic. What do we have here? Here, yes. Apparently we have like a realistic with textures here as well. I don't know. The problem with all this is that we have a lot of details. We have done a lot of work, but at the same time, it can be confusing. So we have to be very, very careful with that. So we need to find the right angle, the right perspective. And probably if we want to show too much, it will be confusing. Maybe it's not a good idea showing all that stuff here or all these here we're not showing the structure of the building. So if we can hide the section box again. Then we can reduce the amount of information that we are giving. And probably it will be clear. I think this is bothering a lot. Okay, so probably we should show just one of them. But again, it was nice. In the other picture was nice showing all of them. So probably we should save this. Save as exploded axonometric view. And then if we just want to show this picture, we can select this one. If we want to edit it, we have to give place it in the original place, and that's interesting. We have copied this, and now, oh yes, I can delete it, or I can delete it, or I can hide it. Let's hide it. Okay, so sometimes you don't have to show all the work you have done, because probably it will be confusing. If we want to show all the parts that make up the facade, probably we don't have to show everything. Okay. So once we have decided, change the okay, I have this one with the perspective, this one has an orthographic view. Okay, I think this is clear enough. Probably the colors are not, and probably have to work with lighting, make it clear or lighter. Doesn't work well. Shaded, probably it's better. Can we cast shadows? If we cast shadows, I don't know if it's clear or not. I'm not going to cast shadows here. In graphic display options, I'm going to show the ambient shadows. Yeah, that's a little nicer. Okay, so we have to work with the visibility graphics. But once we have decided the right view, we hide the section box. We need to work with the crop region. Okay, so what we want for the crop region is this. And now we hide the crop region. And now we are ready to place this into a new sheet. We have to load the title blocks. Oh, I have everything in metric here. Well, I think A0 is the most, is the closest to 40 by 32. Yeah, I think so. Okay, but I have the metric system in this computer. I don't have the imperial system there. So I'm going to use this one. And I want to get rid of this block. Well, remember, in order to get rid of this block, there are things that we need. We need the project name, we need this, so you can move it out, okay? And then we can get rid of what we don't need. But when we are designing the final pattern for the sheet, we might need these options there. So when I want to load it into the project, write this, and we still have this. If we want to change this line type or want to place it somewhere, we can always edit the title block itself. But now I want to work with this 3D view copy. Here, I think this is the right scale. Okay. And now if we have this and you consider that this is the right scale, we can add text. Okay, so adding text, it's something that we can do in the view itself, but I recommend you do it in the sheet, because what we have here, this is not good. Okay, so here we have a font type or a font size. Here we have a different font type or font size and two different. Well, basically what I have done here is copying and pasting different details that I have found on the same PowerPoint slide. But if we are creating or designing the sheet itself, the page, we need to make sure that we have 2 or 3 maximum different font types. We can have something for the title of the drawing. We can have something for those details, or something for these numbers, and something for the letters, but no more than 2 or 3 types, and we have to be consistent. Okay, and if we are working with uppercase, probably we need another type, another text type, uppercase for the title, and then we need lowercase and the same font type and font size for the rest of the. But this doesn't look good. Okay, so it doesn't look good that here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 at this size, and here we have the same elements, probably the same elements, with a different size. So that's why I recommend you do this in the final sheet at the text, because there we can control the text size. If we do this in the drawing itself, in the plan or in the 3D view, and then we try to include everything in the same page, probably the font type and sizes are not the same, and it doesn't look professional. Okay, so if we want to include text here, we have to go to annotate, and you see that here we have text. So you can type text, and here we have different options. We have just text, so here you can type, I don't know, the title of Exploded. Okay, so this is the text. And we can move it. There are other options. We can go to annotate text, and you see that here we have a line with one segment or two segments. Okay, so we can do the two segment line, and here we can create a roof. Hola, just the other way around. Roof, and in that roof you can select layers. One aluminum panel, let's say 0.01 inch. Two, rigid insulation, 5 inches. And then 3, aluminum panel, whatever. Okay, so here on this roof you can select different materials. But it's important that the text size is the right one, and when we are sure that this text size works, then we can use the same for the rest of the details. Okay, so we can, if we are working with these elements, this is structural aluminum frame. So you can do either this, or you can work with numbers. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then having the explanation here. Okay, it's up to you. But if you are combining an axonometric view and then you're combining the section, I think if we open section 1, okay, so for section 1, again, we have to decide what we are showing, because we are showing a section like this. Probably we don't want to show the levels. Category. We do want to show callouts. So if we want to show the callouts, we have to do it this way. We don't want to show grid lines. Okay. And now again, we can try different options. This doesn't work. Consistent colors. Well, that might work. Yeah, I remember that last time we did this with grayish. Okay, so now we should work on this on this section. I think we can make it lighter. Override graphics in view, and for this foreground, we can use solid fill, and we can use something very gray but very light. Okay, that's good. And at this point, this is the section. So now we have to work with the scale. I don't know what the right scale would be. Okay, let's try to hide the crop region, and we're going to insert section 1 into this one. Okay, perfect scale. Okay, yeah, I think it's nice enough. Probably here the soil. Okay, so we can change the pattern of this concrete wall. For concrete, we can use either gray, or we can use material. And here we have concrete. Let's see. Oh, but sorry, this is not the foreground. This is the cut pattern. So the cut pattern, it has to be concrete here. Apply. Yeah, I think that looks better. This is thermal insulation. So if we are using thermal insulation, we have to override graphics in view by element. And this is the cut pattern. I'm going to create a solid color, solid, and color is yellow. Okay, so when we see something yellowish in the section, we always think that, or we always understand that there's a thermal insulation. If we don't have thermal insulation here, it's because we have a curtain wall, so we don't have an opaque wall, so there is no thermal insulation here. And then be careful with dark colors because they don't look good. If this is, again, if this is a floor slab, a generic floor, make sure that we make it concrete as well. The cut pattern is concrete, and the background, we can make it a color, but light gray. Okay, that looks better. And I think, but for this one, and even for the footing, or for that slab, that one, slab, this, we can use the same grade. I always, if it's the same material, we need the same pattern and the same grade scale. So let's write down this one, override graphics in view. This is 190, 190, 190. Okay, it's easy to remember. So we have all these concrete elements, override graphics in view, and the foreground is the cut pattern. The foreground is the material, is the concrete. The background is the solid, and the color, you can type here 190, 190, and 190. Okay, so now all concrete elements have the same color, and it looks better. And for these are the aggregates, so we can have another No, I override graphics by element. In the cut pattern, I can, well, first I can try to find a material for the aggregates, but we don't. Anyway, we can try something, and then for the color, well, it's not bad. And then this still too dark. When we have soil itself, we do have a material. So we have a cut pattern, sand, aluminum, oh, earth, yes, this one. Okay, so we have earth, and this is the soil. And when we have this, we understand that this is the soil itself. It's not, it doesn't belong to the building, or we haven't done it. It's just the existing earth. And then for the background, we can use another color. Okay, not bad. But at least for this, we have something for the aggregates, and we have something for that. And okay, so let's check the heat itself. And well, we still have to define this. I don't know why, but we don't have this element there. Probably because I didn't drag it. And here we need another, we can have a white, when we are doing this, we can have white elements. So this is an elastic material. It can be the same rigid insulation. So you can use the same rigid insulation here. And but the important thing is that if we are working with this sheet and we have decided this text, you can copy. And if you are showing the same element here, if this is the roof, you should have the same text here and the same text here with the same text size, the same types, and the same criteria for everything. Okay, so that's important. If we are showing the same thing in two different views, the axonometric, the exploded axonometric view, and this, if we have the same element, we have to define the same element twice. It's not an excuse, it's defined here. No, we have to define it every time. So if this is the structural aluminum frame, make sure that we copy. And here we have the structural aluminum frame. Okay, so make sure that we are always defining the same elements here and there, in both drawings. And finally, we can work with callouts. So I think in the other last Friday we worked with this callout. We tried to solve the roof, the curtain wall, the truss, the steel structure. Now we can make something even more appealing, and we're going to work with a callout, but just defining this element. Okay, so we don't want to show, well, we can show, but it's not the goal, it's not showing the structure here, but showing all that. So let's do it. We have to go to section 1. In section 1, we can make the callout smaller. Okay. Okay, I'm a little paranoid, but I want all these lines to be with the same slope and all that stuff. Okay, but this is the callout that we are deciding. We are designing now. So as you can see, we're just designing this element, this cap, this thing here, those louvers, and we are going to decide the this panel and all that stuff. Okay. Uh, okay. What is this call out? Is call out number 1? No. Is it number 2? No, it's going to be number 4. This one. So we are defining call out number 4. I want to hide this in view. I don't want to show the level. And what do we have here? What is this? I don't think we need this thermal insulation here. Okay, what we have is these louvers, then we have these shading elements, we have this railing, and then we have this cap here. And this is the curtain wall. So with this curtain wall, here we have glass, and here we're going to have something different that it's not glass. Okay, but we didn't do that in the section because it was going to be, well, in the section in 3D, because it was going to be quite complicated. We did it here, but we didn't do it there. Okay, but now in this call out, I think it's time to try to do something here, because we needed another louvers in this direction. So if this is open, this should be closed, and if this is open, this should be closed. Okay, so that's the idea of this detail. So now we have to start inserting families. Remember that this curtain wall is not acceptable for a call out. First, try to decide the scale of this call out here. This is too small, so let's make it bigger. Is this enough? Slightly bigger. Okay, probably if we make that slightly smaller, this is the right size for call out, or maybe it's too big. 3. There's nothing in the middle. We don't have 2. I find this too small, but probably this is too big. Okay, when in doubt, the bigger, the better. So we're going to work with this one, with call out 4. The scale is 3. And I want to see the section. Okay, so we have this call out here, and I want to show this one too. And I think this is 3. Yes. Okay, this is call out number 3. Now I see, oh, because in that section, now I know what's going on. No. Well, I don't want to see all these elements of the Okay, in this section, we don't have the wall. We do have the structure, the horizontal, vertical. This is the curtain wall. This is the aluminum frame, and this is all the stuff. And here we have this floor. Okay, so here I want to show that the scale has to be the same, 3. And now I want to put this into that detail. Remember that when we have this dashed line, means that the details are aligned, and that's what we are looking for. Okay, yeah, we have to rethink this axonometric view, because if we want to show all this stuff in the same page, probably we have to do this. Okay, so we have this call out here, this one, and we have this call out there to make it better. Yeah, so that looks weird. If we are showing the structure here, we should show the structure there as well. So let's go to call out 4. No, let's go to the section. Okay, and probably we should extend this to explain this better. Yeah. Okay, so that means that if we show this here, we have to show that there, and probably we will have to fix all this mess that we have created, or we have to use the code to make this better. Yeah, but I think now it looks nice. It's aligned, it's important. The steel frames are aligned, everything is aligned. Okay, so this is important. If we had this way, it wouldn't work. Okay, so we won't understand that this is the part of the same wall. But if it's aligned, we can understand that this structural frame is continuing here, and this column is the column there. We're not showing the blocks. What? Say. Oh, I hit this. This is the name. I want to hide this. Okay. So this can be another option. I told you that now we have to work with this. Probably we should rotate it and make all the elements closer so that it can fit here. But I think this is a nice view because we have the axonometric view. Again, we have the section. In this section, we don't have to work more. This is more than enough, this level, but we do have to work on the callouts. So what are the things that we can define in the callouts? I told you that here, if we look at that detail, okay, it's a little blurry, but we see how this is. So we have an angle here, L shape. Then we have these elements, the void between these two elements. It's a void, okay. And then it's something very, look at this. We need a vertical element holding all these louvers. So we need a line here, and then the louvers have to be with a different line type or with a hatch in the section. So those are small details that will make this call out better. So here we have everything. It's about lines. If we click this, okay. So probably we need to activate the thin lines, but that's fine so far. So what's that? Let's work with color up. The thin lines will work here. Oh, they don't. It's called 3. So this is the what's the name of that? The catwalk. Okay, the maintenance catwalk. And what we have here is just an angle and then different elements like this. We can try to insert something, or we can do it. Well, remember that if everything is in section, we should have the same hatch. I remember that we did this with a gray. I don't remember the kind of gray color that we used for the structural elements, but you should use the same code for everything. Then what about this? We can try to insert an L shape. We can do it on our own. I think we will finish earlier. This doesn't have to be like that, so I'm going to override graphics in view by element, and the projection lines, the weight, I'm going to make it 1, and the cut lines, it has to be 1. Okay, and now we have an angle and then tiny rectangles in this direction. So first the angle, and since we are working, this is not a 3D element, we are working in a call out. So in a call out we have to work with this region, field region, and now I can design, this is 2 inch by 2 inches, and now the offset 1/2 is too much. Let's say 1/8. Yeah, 1/8 works. Okay, there you go. And we have just this tiny angle, and now I want to override graphics. If this is something metallic and it's a section, we just need to make the background material and gray. Okay, so we have the same criteria as we have here. It would be wonderful if we could mirror. Yes, it is, but we have to change the shape. We have to change the background. Color, gray, apply. Okay. And now the same thing we need here, because this is like perforated. You remember that it was a perforated steel catwalk, and we can now use another field region. Let's place it here. And now I'm going to copy this, but I can't erase. Okay, I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to use array. I need to move to the last, and how many? Let's say 6. And this is the first point, and this is the last point. So now I have 6 of them, okay? And if everything goes well, if I change the graphics of this, all of them should change. Let's try, let's change yep, they all change. Okay, yeah, sometimes Revit works. If we need more, I think we can. No, we can't. Well, probably more would be, instead of 6, try to make 8. It will look better. But well, at least we have this idea that there's something solid, but there's a void, and people can walk on that without falling. But it's not a solid element. Okay. What about this detail? Well, yeah, what about it? We can at least make it have the right graphics. And here, projection lines. Okay, so here the cut lines, we can make them 2 to see. It's not a difference. Let's make it 4. Okay, so at least this is different. It's a section. It's not metallic, because those louvers usually are PVC louvers or plastic or something like that. But the line weight is different than other things. Okay, so probably we can make it even heavier. Okay, that's good. And then we need to add more. This is the curtain wall. So we have to add the curtain wall that we have here. It's the insert family detail items, and we do have windows, doors and windows, windows, aluminum, curtain wall. No. Detail, sorry. And here, metal door and frames. No. Storefront. Oh yeah, that was. It's in storefront. It's not in windows. So we have to find the same detail that we used last time. It was this one. Open. And now we go to detail, annotate. Sorry, component. Annotate. A detail component, and we have the storefront here. Okay. There you go. Why is it this way? Remember that we have to edit the family. I have to make the glass longer. and back and drag, and same thing here. This one, and now loading to the project. Yep, but I don't like this hatch. So in the background, okay, there you go. Okay, so at least we have more details now. It looks better. And well, working with this, it's gonna be more difficult because we have to find a detail for this curtain wall. I'll try to find something here and I will post it on Canvas because yeah, we have to define, we have these pyramids. So we need to find a detail for this kind of curtain wall. But now, at least there's a difference between this and the other one. We can add more elements. I told you that we need to hold all these louvers and probably we'll need some vertical lines here. So we can always annotate, detail, line. We can make it something very thin here and something very thin there. Okay. Now probably we can add another circle here. And make it the same. Well, here we can control the thin line, medium line, or white lines. Okay, so here we can control the thickness of that line. Yeah, it's about adding different elements. For this structural frame, we can add another detail line. Okay, yes, I'm going to try to do this, but now I'm going to move it. Like this. And why I'm okay, why am I doing that? Because this might be an aluminum frame and probably there's a double line here. It's not just a solid thing. And we can always use hidden. Okay, that looks much better. And now we copy this here. And trim. Okay, if now we select all these and we mirror this way, yeah, we are adding more details to this cloud, because the key here is that when we look at the sheet, we see a difference between the detail here. Okay, here everything is very basic, and here we have much more elements, much more details to work with that. And then, yeah, I told you that this might be complicated, so I need to figure out how to do it. And I will post a lesson to show you how to do it. And I will post on Canvas, I will upload the element that I'm going to use to create that detail here, because it's difficult to do it. Okay, but this is it. Now you can tell the difference between this call out and this one. This is better than that one. We could even do something good. Yep. So how can we hold the, yeah, you remember those details? This one. Okay, so there's some connection, or this, there is some connection between the structural element and the Boolean itself. Well, it's quite simple. If you see one of these elements, you can understand that it's something that has to be bolted to the structural element, and then there's another element that it's bolted to the Boolean, to the curtain wall Boolean. We can do something like that in the callout 3. Okay, so here we have the structural element, and the Boolean, probably the Boolean is, okay, I'm going to do it the other way around. Okay, that's better. Okay. And probably I want to hide this category. Yeah. Okay, because the glass was inside, and this is better. So now we can assume that there's a vertical Boolean, and then this is the horizontal one. What we can do now is we have to attach the vertical Boolean, and even to, I don't know what this is, by the way. I'm going to hide it. Okay, now it looks better. So this is the column. If this is a column, if this is a structural, I'm going to create a surface pattern color, and I think this was the 190 light gray. Okay, apparently it wasn't the surface pattern. Oh, by material solid. We didn't do it. Okay, there you go. So this is a structural element, but this is the projection. This is a structural element, but it's the section of the structural element. And now there's a gap between the structure and the curtain wall. There's a tiny gap here, ½ inch or whatever. But there's a Boolean. If this is the horizontal Boolean, there's a vertical Boolean. So we need another line. So I'm going to annotate another detail line here. I go up, and then I go down. Okay, and now I can create something like an angle, and then something to hold that. Okay, I'll do it, and then I can create an angle like this. There you go. Oh, sorry. I have to create a region, a field region. Okay, so this field region, it's something metallic, so this dark gray goes well. Then we need to bolt this angle to this element, so I can create another masking region or field region, a rectangle like this. And then you go. Okay, so this is bolted here. And now I need another connection there. So I can create another field region, another rectangle. Like this. This doesn't have to be I don't want to show this. Why? Okay. And now we have bolts in this direction. So I can create another, this can be a detail line. I can create a polygon. I've never tried this. Okay, it works. And copy here. And now another detail line, a circle. I need, yeah, we need oof, a lot of stuff. Okay, so I need this angle, and this angle is connected to this structure here with this bolt, and at the same time is holding the mullion with these two bolts here. It's the same thing we have here. You see that we have something horizontal bolted to the slab. In this case, we don't have the slab, we have the steel beam. And then this is connected to these elements, and this is bolted to the to that mullion. Okay. So we have a high level detail with a lot of definition, and this sheet, it's getting better and better. Okay. Are you still there, or did you withdraw the course after all this, or are you following me?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay, only you apparently, but anyway, this is just an example of what we can do. Okay, this is quite complicated. From the yeah, the construction of a double skin probably is one of the probably is the most complicated thing that we have to understand when it comes to construction. But if you divide the elements, it's clear. We need the interior glazing. Yeah, it's a storefront. We can do this with Revit easily. Then we need the exterior glazing. It's another curtain wall. We can use exactly the same pattern that we have done in Revit, or we can try something different. We need to connect these two glazing, the interior and the exterior. And that way we have this frame. And then connecting this frame, we have the catwalk, because people for maintenance have to walk through this cavity that we have here. And then we have to protect this against sun, and water. If we need to get rid of water, we need a cap here. Okay, so we need to get rid of water. And if we need to protect this against the sun, we need some louvers. And if those louvers can be moved, it's great because we can have sun in winter and we can have shade in summer. And then it's about connecting things. So we have the vertical and the structure and the horizontal structure. And then we have a curtain wall. So the curtain wall has to hang from the structure. So we need a bolt here and we need bolts there. That's it. So basically that's it. We need to connect this element that it's hanging to the something that it's fixed. And it can be a concrete slab or it can be a beam like this, doesn't matter. But we need this element, this transition element, and it's always something that it's bolted here and it's something that it's bolted to the mullion. We don't have to design this. It's given. If you hire a good curtain wall company, they have all these details and you can ask for these details if you want to do it here. But I think that by doing it yourself, you can understand that if we have this structure and we have this mullion, we need a connection that it's bolted first to the structure and then to the mullion. And that is all it takes. And this is the catwalk. And yeah, then if we go, we can go forever. We have to bolt this channel to this frame. So there will be a bolt here. But it's about bolting things. We have something, we have something different, and we need a connection. And in construction, a connection is always a bolt, or if we are working with wood, a nail. Okay, if we're working with steel or aluminum, we can't nail things. We have to use bolts, and that's it. It's not difficult, but if you spend, we have been like 30 minutes working on this call out, it pays off. Okay, so the difference between what we can do in the section is this, and what we can do with the call out, it's a huge difference, and that brings quality to the project. Don't try to do this in the section, because at that scale you won't see anything. Everything will be blurry and confusing. That if you have the call out, then spend a few minutes on working with this call out and try to create your own libraries. If you have, if next time, if you have all these details, you don't have to do it again. So you can copy this call out, because this is not the project itself. It's just solving the connection between a curtain wall to a structure. And this can be a standard detail. You don't have to design it again.